business can be really tough. And my guest today has got a business that he started just a few years ago. In his own words, he's not making enough money to pay for the food shop. I've really got to try and help him turn this into a commercially profitable enterprise. I don't care what size your business is at, whether you're turning millions of pounds or just a few £100. There's going to be some powerful lessons in this conversation. Take a listen. Hello campus, welcome back to Business Broadcast. I'm James Sinclair and you're...
James Burt. Hello.
Quick question for you. Have you ever wanted to throw the towel in on your business? Because you left me in coronavirus, you worked for me for 10 minutes and then you set up on your own.
Which my little boy couldn't believe the other day. He was fuming when he came to the dinosaur park. He went, "Where did you used to work?" And I said, "I used to work here." He went, "At the dinosaur park?" Well, it wasn't really a dinosaur park. But it was the wrong time, wasn't it? Because it was all changed. I had no money because... basically, my businesses were closed down. It was a very scary time 4 years ago. And it was only just over 4 years ago all that shenanigans happened. Yeah, it would have been,
Madness.
I remember I used to go out for like walks at like 10 o'clock at night just to like get out of the house. And
I wasn't allowed because...
You'd be like texting me going, "What's going on?" And you'd be like, "Oh, should we have a chat?"
My wife was pregnant at the time. And
so was Hayley,
absolutely freaked out by it. She wouldn't let me out of the house. I'll tell you a quick story why. Just... to remind you, because I'm very touchy-feely, like, you know, even with men, you know, not like that, but, you know, "Hey, dear mate," I'm like that, you know, I shake hands.
You're a hugger, aren't you?
I'm a hugger. And she said, "All right, you can go out the house, but don't touch anyone."
I used to have to go do the shopping and come back. I just
realised how that
change my clothes, like get in the shower, change your clothes.
That was sanitising.
We sprayed everything that came in the house.
What a load of rubbish it all was. Anyway, so she said, "Right, you can go to work, but don't touch anyone, don't do anything." And but we was all going for walks. She would go for walks with me so she could keep an eye on me to make sure I don't touch. And there was a guy that was a farmer that lived next door to me, and he was in his tractor and he was doing his farming thing, and he came past my house, which at the time was an old farmhouse, and I saw him, and I can't remember his name now, Reg, and I went, "Hello, Reg," and he went, "Hello, Jim," and he put his hand out shaking. I put my hand out shaking, and I turned around, I looked at her. Honestly, it was like I'd murdered one of our children. She went, "You're never leaving this house again." She was petrified of it. Petrified. But anyway, so you left us and then you started up Phonic Media, which is your podcasting business, which you still run today.
Yes.
You've launched hundreds of podcasts for people, but setting up from scratch is not easy, is it?
It's not. I think also if you set up from scratch in an emergency, like that was not I didn't want to set up a business. I needed to set up a business. And that was the unfortunate thing. I think if I've had it twice. That I used to work in the music industry. That's also fraught with nonsense. And I got to the end of the month. They're like, "How would you feel about being paid in installments?" And I was like, "I would feel very bad about that. You're telling me that you can't pay the bills. You can't pay my salary." I was just on the salary. Like, "No, we can't." So I handed in my notice that day. I was like, "Well, I can't work for you anymore. I'll come in and do my last day on a Tuesday," and that was it. So literally on the Wednesday, that was the Friday. Tuesday I left, and the Wednesday I started up on my own, and I was like, "Oh God, right, what do I do again now?" And it's just a really tough place to be when your back is that close to the wall to turn a quid. Have I thought about throwing the towel in? Half-heartedly.
What makes you have those conversations with yourself? Is it cash flow?
Yeah, there's a couple.
That's always
there was a couple of months last year where if I hadn't have sold something on the last day of the month, I wouldn't have been able to make the cash flow. I wouldn't have been able to do the payroll.
It's horrible.
Which was only, like 6-7 grand at that point in time. It just was, for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking. And the weird thing was I'd had a company before I came to work with you that we did sort of best part of £750,000 in 18 months. So I've had a business that took off, for all intents and purposes, as best my understanding goes, took off like a bit of a rocket. I was like, "Oh my God, this is what it should feel like the big house and a couple of cars and all this sort of stuff." I'm like, "Oh, brilliant. I've made it." And then the next business that didn't take off like a rocket in that way, I'm like, "Oh." But then you sort of stand back at it now, you go, 30-40 grand months, 9 members of staff, big office, launched 178
out of that
podcasts.
30 and 40 grand, you've got 9 staff, you've got an office, it just chips out, doesn't it, very quickly?
Yeah, very quickly.
Do you...
So last year, I got to a point last year where, and Hayley said to me, she's like, you're so miserable. You're so miserable. Because I would literally get home and I would drive up to the house and I'd just sit on the driveway for a bit. for like 5-10 minutes.
Oh
like,
yeah, I've had all that.
Walking through the front door, like you don't want to have to face anyone.
Yeah.
It's almost like they can read your mind. You're like, oh, I don't want to.
It's good, all because of cash flow.
Yeah. It's a tough old game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think big businesses have it as well.
Yeah, like you've said it to me many times. It doesn't change. It just the levels of it change.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wish that my life would be how I could, or just not find 5-7 grand.
Yeah,
it'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
but my life is like
that
I need to
times
find
100. No,
500, 200, 300. You know, and I'm very honest here on the pod. Like even now, you know, there is a big difference between profit and cash flow. Like we make millions of pounds worth of profit, but some months of the year I'm funding so much and it all comes back round in 90, 120 days. But
that's a long old time though when you haven't got it in your pocket, isn't it?
It is. And no one's talked to about it.
Yeah. Who do you talk to about that kind of stuff?
I just sit on my own and
do you think that's
fester about it? Because
what about your pal James Martin?
No one is at my level of. No one's got 1,200 staff. You know.
No. See, would you see value in being a part of a group like that, where the bigger business?
I mean, there
owners?
are people I can talk to. It's just they've got have businesses exactly the same as you, and the bigger you get, the more unique you become.
Yeah.
You know, some people have to put lots of money into stock. Other people have to put lots of money into staff. I have, because my business is so diverse now, like both, you know, I have to fund payrolls, fund lots of stock. Yeah, it's not funny. And then we have a government in this country, and for the last 20 years, I think or 25 years, as far as I can make a measure of it, we've become a country that is so focused on corporatism and not capitalism.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs are capitalists. And we've put red tape in place. We've put conditions in place that protect corporates. And I never shy of reminding people, we've got 7,500 companies in the UK that employ more than 250 people. So there's only 7,500 companies that employ more than 250 people. And of those 7,500 companies, some of them might have 4 companies in their group that employ that many people. So I would say there's only 5,000 CEOs
tops
that manage most of the private workforce. Now, they're big corporate companies, you know, like the big supermarkets, the FTSE 500, you know, these big, massive organisations. And I think they quite like the red tape because it protects them from the middle management or the middle-sized companies that are maybe at 10 million turnover or 5 million turnover or 3 million turnover or 2 that want to get to the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. And they find it very difficult to do. And that's why I think they're so celebrated, the people that get through, because it's so flipping hard. And I think it was easier 20 years ago when we had less turnover taxes.
Well, you talk about this at your seminars, don't you? You talk about the 7 stage of the entrepreneurial, the entrepreneur's pyramid. That's what you call it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's that the steps up in general.
Yeah. And then people returning back to going to their comfort.
So because in the example that you give, it's sort of like 10 million quid turnover. That's the top of that particular mountain. But do you think actually in the world that you now sort of occupy, 10 million quid is the bottom run of the next ladder almost?
Yeah, but what happens is you get to certain stages where it gets easier to fund your business and you can start affording good people, and that helps. But
are you
it's
there?
Very hard to be.
Funding?
Yeah. I think that to a certain degree we've, you know, it's all too slow though, and I think the way that we could explode growth in this business is start taxing profit, not turnover. Business owners will get this if they employ someone. They're paying employers national insurance. Well, I think it's 13.5% or whatever it was. But 15 years ago, it wasn't 13.5%. It was a lot less than 13.5%. So not only are the turnover taxes coming in, but the rates of the turnover taxes have gone up. So business rates, they used to be 42 pence in the pound. I think they're nearly 50 pence in the pound. So not only has business rates gone up, but the amount they're taking, the percentage is more. Yeah. You know, VAT used to be 17.5%, and it was 15%. Now it's 20% taking more and more and more. If you think about insurance premium tax, this is a tax that you have to pay to insure your vehicles or your business. You know, there was no insurance premium tax 20 years ago.
It was just the insurance.
Yeah. And then Gordon Brown said, right, we're going to have an insurance premium tax. Started off at 5%. Then it was, and I think it's 13.5% now. So it's more. The green levy on all of your utilities, you're paying a turnover tax on your utilities to the government to be green and energy efficient. I get all this stuff, but what it means is only the corporates can absorb all that. So the corporates become bigger and bigger and bigger and more powerful. And then it's very hard for medium-sized businesses that are trying to get up the ladder.
And then you've got that sort of...
And they're just some of the...
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I haven't done fuel duty.
Yeah.
You know, the pension costs that have been made to put on companies now that wasn't there before. You know, all of this is deterring people from having to go.
Which then makes people go, you know, why are so many businesses under that VAT threshold? Because most people can live a comfortable life on 70 grand a year, nicking 90% of the revenue as a one-man band sole trader kind of setup, rather than going to that next step of doing the employment piece. Because you get to that.
The best analogy of that is the hairdresser.
Yeah.
You know, the hairdresser's working hard. They leave school. They start getting a few customers and they're cutting hairs and they're driving to people's houses and doing really well. Wow, I should expand my business. I've got some customers. I'm going to go and inquire about opening a shop. So, £2,000 a month rent. Yeah, I can make that work. Got so many people. Hang on a sec. I'm going to lose 20% of my turnover straight away as soon as I walk in on VAT. It's just think I've got business rates and now I've got to pay green levy tax on all of my utilities. I used the customers' electric before because I was doing whatever it was, and then I've got employers' national insurance. I've got to pay a pension to someone. I'm only just starting out. I'm only going to be turning 50 grand maybe in my first year, and then I'm going to lose more of my revenue and I'm not going to be paying myself. Why am I doing this? And then they'll probably personally guarantee a loan to get the shop open and refurb. Maybe they'll put it on their house. Their parents might lend them some money, or their mates. And, you know, that.
Probably see private clients for a bit of to actually be able to put food on the table themselves.
You know, people look at this and go, "Do you know what? I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
I'll keep my car and I go to people's houses."
Yeah,
and I've take my hat off to anyone that has a go. My mobile hairdresser, Chris, who's sometimes listens to this podcast, that was him. He was doing people's hair, like mobile hairdresser. Then he opened a shop. Then all the turnover taxes kick in. He goes, I can't do this. He closed the shop, he went back doing mobile, and now works for L'Oreal.
Really? Yeah.
It's sad, isn't it?
It is, because you look at it and you think, you know, you say a lot of the time, like, you've got to become your own economy. In that instance there, your instance with Chris, for example, he's probably, to make it work, he probably has to go from him by himself to probably having, rented out 4 chairs or something like that. So therefore, there's 4-5 people then who are in the economy, earning money and putting back into the system. But when it's so unfeasible for somebody to do that to start off with, which is the hardest bit, because you know the least, you've got the least traction, you've got the least cash, you've got the least experience, you're still getting taxed at the same level that everybody else is, but you've got none of the sort of the credibility or the understanding to actually get through that challenging bit. Then actually he steps back. He's all right. His personal economy, that's fine. I'll go back to doing the
Did I even
mobile
mention business rates? I did mention it.
Yeah.
Well, they're just the more you talk about it and you've just concluded what I just said, I can feel my blood pressure rising.
It really gets you.
Really annoys me. And I think we're missing out hugely. It's the only thing that would make me want to get into politics, but I won't do it because I know that the politicians. I've met lots of politicians, both red, green, Labour, Liberal. Most of the time, I've met people that are incredibly hardworking, and I don't know why they do it.
Yeah,
they go in thinking they're going to make a change, and then we've got a series of unelected bureaucrats that stop anything happening.
Yeah.
So let's look at the planning system here in the UK. Very frustrating for lots of entrepreneurs. They want to extend their warehouse, or they found a building and they want to get change of use, or they want to build some houses that would help our housing in this country. Politicians are all on board with that. You know, they want to grow an economy. Yeah. They want to build more houses. They want to get entrepreneurship and business going. But they're not the decision makers. There's these unelected bureaucrats, which would be called planning officers, that are not elected, that actually have all the power to slow the process down. It's taken us 2 years to get planning over the line. Stupid. That's 2 years of stagnation in the economy.
Is that an actual example?
Yeah. Most of it's taking, nearly everything I do, it takes 2 years to get over the line.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So that's 2 years less sales going to Travis Perkins or B&Q that would...
The builders and the suppliers.
Less digger hire, less, less labour being used. It's a joke.
And at which point in time, then you do the extension, is this one of the industrial parks or something like that? So at which point you've got space for another
building houses.
10 units, so you can put more businesses into those and they could got an opportunity. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Sad and frustrating.
Yeah. But frustration is where our guest today.
Yes, unfortunately so.
Now, you spoke to him in the pre-chat chat.
I did.
Tell us a little bit.
So Josh has been going for about 3 years now. He runs a company called Frank's Fasteners and he specialises in all things fastening. So nuts, bolts, screws, washers, that sort of stuff. Anything you need to fasten things. But he's having a really, really tough time. And we have a lot of banter, a lot of fun on this podcast ordinarily, but this is a guy who sounds a little bit broken. He sounds to me like he's really had the stuffing kicked out of him recently, and he's on the cusp of whether this is still feasible or not, or whether he has to go back and get a job. Estimated monthly revenue, I mean, we've never had anyone so accurate in our entire history of doing this podcast, £2,367 in estimated monthly revenue. I wonder if that's last month's. Does he have any team members? The answer is no. The challenge is that he just can't continue at this revenue, and if I give it up, I've got a load of business stock left idle. He can't scale. He's giving all of his money away. He basically runs the business through eBay and those sorts of third-party sales platforms. So basically he's giving all of his money to those platforms, and eBay's fees are basically killing off this business. He wants to, in 1 year's time, be at 10K a month in revenue, or enough money to be his own boss and support his family. At the moment, he says that the saddest answer to the questions that we asked earlier is, do you make the profit you want to make? If so, what is it? He says currently no, it doesn't even pay for the food shop, and he is working from 8:30 till 4:30 every day, completing orders, packing, picking, sending stuff out. He's just not turning enough money, and he said in the pre-chat he's not sure whether he should sack it all off and go back to a day job.
There's something here on his challenge too. Just reading the iPad where we have some brief notes. If you're wondering why I'm not looking at the camera, but he says, challenge 2, scale of my business. I've limited stock, so less customers. My competitors have bigger range, so attract more customers. Do you know what? This is one thing that's really annoying about human beings and business that I face. Range makes people buy from you, even if they don't want to buy all of your range. It really is annoying.
Yeah.
They go, oh, that's a lovely big garden centre. But all they want is the bloody Busy Lizzies or the Pansies.
Yeah.
They're going in there. They know what they want to buy, but the range makes people go there. And I find this with Party Pieces and Costco, Party Pieces, Teddy-tastic, and Rossi Ice Cream, my ice cream business. We have to have a full range of flavours, but it's still like 8 of the big sellers, the mint choc chip and the vanilla, the superstars. There will always be but if we don't bring out new flavours and do a market, we brought out
Morello cherry that no one's going to eat.
We're thinking about raspberry ripple and raspberry ripple with white chocolate. That's one of the...
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing, but I know that. I think it'll sell okay, but it's not going to touch mint choc chip and vanilla.
Yeah,
it's not going to touch strawberry.
But you need the
chocolate.
range to bring the interest.
And I get, when he says that, I was reading that, I was like, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true, because that is how human beings are wired up. They want to go to Screwfix that's got a big range, but they probably only need 6 or 7 things they do a year.
Yeah. Which is all right if you're Screwfix, because you've got we talk about these big corporates, they could swallow up the cost of holding that inventory, but if you're doing $2,000 a month, you can't afford to hold that inventory, can you?
Hey gang, James here. Great news. Business Masterclass is coming back to London. This is my ultimate 2-day event that will grow the profitability and size of your business so that you can have a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. I've run this event before. People absolutely love it. We get rave reviews, and I'd love for you to come along. Imagine 400 business owners in a room serious about growing their business. Imagine the connections you can make. I'll be on stage teaching you all the stuff that I've learned over the last 20 years in 2 days to seriously scale your business up. If you want to find out how to buy companies, raise finance, get customers, and and make your teams as profitable as possible, then this is the event for you. Look, it comes with my 100% money back guarantee. You come along to this event, and if at the end of day one you go, do you know what? I haven't got 10 times value out of what I've paid for this. I'll just give you your money back. And here's the great news. Tickets are only a few £100. There's no sleazy sales on the day. It's just me delivering all the stuff that I know about growing businesses. And I can't wait to meet you. I'll be there. We'll have a little chat with the other 400 people in the room. It's big enough, but intimate enough to really learn the stuff that I know that scales businesses. Cannot wait to see you at Business Masterclass. Now, every year the tickets go like hotcakes, so make sure you get your ticket now. The tickets are £299 as we're making this video, but they grow in value depending on how late you leave it. So get your tickets now before the price goes up. And I'll see you at Business Masterclass to grow your business.
Should we get him on the pod and see if we can help him out?
Yeah.
Josh, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Give us a summary of the business in your own words, mate, because I might have made that sound more dark than I needed to, but I just from your tone when we had the pre-chat, I was like, this is a guy who's sort of at his end of his tether was the impression that I got.
Yeah, so it originally just started out as kind of like a hobby job where, I was happy to make £100 just to meet some requirements that I needed. And then over the 3 years, I wanted it to grow. I obviously have recently had a few medical problems that have made me stay at home, and it became my source of income. And obviously I realised that I don't like working for other people and I want to earn my own money. And for the past 6 months, doing my best to, make it grow. And I just can't get past the amount that I need.
So where are you set? So you're selling on eBay, or give us, how does the business operate? What's the model?
So originally, probably about 99% is on eBay, just because that is where it's easy to get the customers. I have my own website. I then I do my very best to try and attract those customers from eBay to my own website. It does sometimes work, but very, very small amounts on my own website. But I know that I think the key is to get to businesses that need screws and would buy hundreds of them. But I'm just a little bit scared.
Why are you scared?
Probably, as I said, I worked in the industry. I live in a small village where the previous owners live, and I feel that I would be perceived that I took away, 20,000 of their orders. I don't know how you would feel if one of your ice cream makers left and decided to make their own ice cream. Would you be sad or mad or happy for them? I just have that feeling that I'd be not hunted down, but just looked down upon. So I don't want to go for their customers, kind of step into their territory. So that's why I've just stuck on eBay.
How many sales do you get a day through eBay? And is it just because I don't really understand? I haven't used eBay for 15 years. But is it still that people would they go on and search for a type of bolt, or are they a hobbyist, or are they fans of like building kit cars, or like who's the demographic that actually uses eBay for nuts and bolts and fasteners?
Well, I think obviously in today's world, I said you put M6 nuts on Google, and nowadays it comes up with an eBay shop, and you're second on the list, so it can be anyone. But I do have a lot of like automotive shops as well that buy from me. But yeah, in terms of orders, I probably could be from 20 to 50 orders a day. So not too many. And again, the key, or I find the key, is that I need people to buy multiple items off eBay, because I then get double the postage, if that makes sense. So an extra £2, £4, £6 an order when they multiple. So yeah.
Where'd you get all your stock from? Do you buy it and you in bulk and then pack it down? Is that what you do?
Yeah. So when I started, I rolled on red and decided to put £3,000 worth of stock on. Again, for range, you need various sizes and lengths, so I needed to have quite a biggish inventory. So yeah, the first year invested all my sales into growing my stock and my range. But yeah, I buy from a wholesaler, and then it sits on the shelf, and then on eBay people can buy 1 screw or 100.
Okay.
And do you actually hold the stock yourself?
I do, yeah. It's all around the house.
God, yeah, that's full on, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got. So how much stock have you ever sat on? You sort of sat on £3,000 worth of stock that's literally in the house.
Well, with eBay, obviously with all my listings and whatnot, it says that I stock about 50,000 odd pounds worth of stock to sell.
Right. Okay.
So.
And how long has it taken you to build up to £50,000 worth of stock?
Well, that's obviously been over probably the first 2 years. I mean, you buy your washers, let's say for £1 for 1,000, but obviously when you sell it, it can be £100 worth. So yeah, to buy is cheap, but yeah, to sell, I have an Excel spreadsheet that I've made that tells me the minimum that I can sell for, and I'm to match other suppliers and competitors. I'm only making pennies.
Tough old business, this.
Yeah, but people always will buy this stuff, won't they? So how many web orders a day do you get?
In the last 30 days, I've had 19 orders worth £236. So that's been up 44%.
But there's no ad spend. It's just organic.
Yeah. I've tried a few times doing a Facebook ad, and I don't. I haven't had that. Again, just down to money. If I manage to get £200, is it worth spending it on adverts that may or may not work, or do I buy £200 of stock that then I can put on eBay and hopefully make money? So it's that toss up between how do I get money.
Yeah, let's come back to that. I think we should ask the questions, JB. I think that will give it a lot of steer.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying that, just before you do that, Josh, it's understanding you and what type of business owner you are depends on what type of advice we give.
Yeah.
Like if you can cope, you stay in and you work hard and you do the stuff to get customers and you do the proactive stuff. But if it feels too much for you, that's also okay, and you don't have to do it. So I think we need that honesty from you. Like, what is it that you really want? But you don't want to work for someone. You've said that quite clearly at the start of the pod. So isn't your choice, you've got to make this work?
Yeah. For the 6 months or 5 months while I've been off, obviously I've been enjoying my time, making my own money. So it needs to work. Yeah, definitely.
So you've been doing it for 2 years.
I think I think 3 years in total about now. Yeah.
And you've built this all up with no ad spend.
Yeah.
But you have, because eBay have been taking ad spend, but guaranteeing you the sales, haven't they?
Yeah. So about 3 weeks ago, I I don't know if it was my fault or they've changed something, but I added an additional 16% onto the original 20 odd percent that they already take, so about 36%. So my let's say my daily sales were £60, now they shot up to about £176 a day, but then my fees obviously were twice as much. So although I was getting more orders, getting more sales, I actually made the same amount as if I didn't. So yeah,
I'm sort of struggling to understand that. So you agreed with eBay that they could take more to put you at the top of the page. Is that what that means?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But then because they took more, and obviously I got more sales, which boosted my confidence. In looking back at the figures, I made the same as if they didn't. So
yeah, but the thing is, will those people come back to you and buy again from you in 3, 4, 5 months' time?
I do get a fair amount of returning customers, so yeah, they could do.
Well, so when you say let's just talk about that, because I think that is the magic for this type of business. How often, like if you have 10 customers, how many of those will come back and order and again from you a couple of times a year?
I think I don't have the statistic to hand, but I think I have, or let's say, I think about 500. I think it was, if I can remember, out of returning customers that have come back again from eBay.
All right, and so how many orders a day are you doing on average on eBay?
Let's say average 20.
So 1.5 of those would be returning customers a day.
Yeah.
So let's just round it up to 2. So 10% of your customers buy from you. Again, I don't know how many times that, but they might be buying from you 4 or 5 times a year. Do you put in have you got a little brochure or something that you can put in each order?
Yeah, so I have a little book leaflet that I've made. One I thought I'd do. Well, I've made it again, just learning from experience. So one is the eBay, advertising of what they've just paid on eBay or various stock on eBay, and what they would buy from me, and obviously saving X amount of money. I've then have a reason for them to buy from me, so they get 10% off their first order. They get.
So can I just sorry? Let me just stop here. So you give eBay 36% for every order, yeah?
About 3 weeks ago, yeah. So now it's back down to about 10, and then obviously those sales again just dropped back to original percentage. But when I found out that I was giving away 16%, I had a customer that contacted me saying, why did I pay £2.60 for one screw? Obviously his fault that he ordered just one. And then I explained to him that I had to pay eBay £1. I paid Royal Mail £2, 2p. So now I'm already minus 37p. And then that's not obviously counting the stock and all my other fees.
Let me just but when you was doing that, you was giving them 36%.
Yeah.
Your regular customers, if you're putting a leaflet in and you say, look, if you go to our website with this offer code, if you buy again within the next 3 months and you get a 30% discount, and they buy direct from you and you've then got their data. This would be even the people that buy direct from you as well, just to get them over the line to be into a regular buying pattern with you.
Yeah.
And or offer something for free, but come back to us and get these, get a £10 worth of stuff for free, which is better than discounting. Free is always better than discounts because they don't expect it every time, but they do expect a discount every time. Whatever you do to get people onto your direct selling machine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's do the questions, JB.
Right. So Question number, we've sort of touched on question one already. Question two, I'm a sole trader. Do companies prefer VAT registered companies? If I register, then this leaves me with less control over money.
Well, here's the thing. If over the last 3 years you've bought loads of stuff and there's VAT on those invoices, if you become VAT registered, you get a big lump of money back. Do you know that?
Well, not really. I've only just signed up for the last accountant a year ago.
Right. So let's just, I'll give you an example. You bought 50 grand's worth of stock, yeah?
Yeah.
That's got VAT in it. Just keeping the numbers round. I know it's not exactly, but say there was 10 grand's worth of VAT in that 50 grand's worth of orders. You become VAT registered. You can go back 4 or 5 years, I believe. It's either 4 or 5 or might be even 7. I know people will gyrate me in the comments there, but whatever it is, let's say it's 4 years, but you go around, you paid 50 grand's worth of stuff, you'll get a check back for 10 grand from the VAT man.
Yeah. So
you can put all your invoices go in one go, and that gives you 10 grand's worth of cash flow. You could go and buy 5 grand's worth of stock with that to give you more range. You haven't got to pay it back. But then you could also go and do 5 grand's worth of paid for marketing and sort your website out. And I would possibly, if it was me, go and find an e-commerce PPC specialist. Not a PPC broad church, but an e-commerce PPC specialist. I can't recommend anyone because I don't know anyone that does it spectacularly.
We've had a few of them on the pod, though, haven't we?
We have had a few of them on the pod, but you need to go and make your own decision and research. I don't like recommending someone until I've tried testing and using them for a year, and I can go get, because sometimes they're a one-hit wonder for the first month. Oh, look how good we are, and then the reality kicks in. But I mean, certainly that having that 10 grand in a lump to be able to invest into growing your business, but then you will have to pay VAT, but you get all your VAT back, and then you charge that out as well, and then if it doesn't work, you close the business down. But I would, there's a chance there to put 10 grand into your business without borrowing any money and see if you can, if you get good. You're an e-com guy now, mate. You're an e-com entrepreneur. You've got to read every book and listen to every podcast and watch every YouTube video about e-commerce retail and knowledge up. Like, spend 3 hours a day on it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, what do you do day to day with your time in the business? This is going to grow a business? I'm not so sure. 8:30 to 4:30. In the morning, I complete orders, then business stock ordering, accounts, website maintenance. Afternoon, I complete orders, deliver post to Royal Mail. That is not going to grow a business.
Yeah.
Like, what you need to be doing is getting customers. More time on customer acquisition will explode the growth of your business.
I suppose the great thing with eBay businesses as well is that you actually, if you're doing the fulfillment yourself, you own the relationship with the client as soon as you can deliver them. Whereas we've had people on doing drop shipping and stuff before where they've used like FBA fulfillment by Amazon. Obviously, Amazon owns that end to end, and it's very hard to get any engagement with the client. But in that, you can literally decide and dictate what you put in the box.
Yeah, and in companies, I mean, the one that springs to mind is Ironmongery Direct, which I suppose would be the big boy in what you're doing, isn't it?
Well, that's one of them, but there's several that, hundreds of fastener shops around.
But when I go on, that catalogue that they do, that's how I know about Ironmongery Direct. Catalogues, I always tell people that they're cheaper than you would ever think to print now. Like, you can have a really good catalogue printed for like 30 pence. I mean, you got to do some volume and you get there eventually, but, could you do some drop shipping on your website of all these other things like fire door hinges, window restrictions, co-lots, so you're not actually fulfilling them until you see that they're busy, and then you bring in your own stuff? I mean, I'm on there like the fire door keep shut things that we see on every door. Could you go to one of these big ironmongery companies, and when you get an order, you buy it and you fulfill it, even if you don't make any money, but you get facilities management people that know you're the person to go to?
I don't see why not.
I'm just trying to, because I think you're right about range. It's people want to go to a one-stop shop, But even if you don't do that, you just do a fasteners website. But I'm looking on their website, easy free returns, free next day delivery. We're rated excellent on Trustpilot. We really care about our customers. Signals to buy. And this is why you need to read up on loads of e-com stuff. I'm not saying yours is, I know you are on theirs. Sorry, JB's looking as well, but you're not. The reality is, you don't want to work for someone. You're probably unemployable now because you started your own business. You got to fix this one. And I think people always buy screws and nuts and bolts. I think they always will. You use eBay to cash flow where you're at right now, but you want to get people buying direct from you. And in these niche businesses, particular screws, particular washers, you can build, I would be giving people credit accounts as well. If they're good companies, they can just order, and wholesale accounts.
I said that's, I know, I think business companies are where I need to be. Again, previously I've had one company that asked if I did something. So I spoke to my supplier. He said yes. That was an easy £650 by one email.
Yeah, see.
So
see?
I said it's that. It's just said said previously that it's just that scaredness of tripping on someone else's foot that has stopped me. But if you tell me to ignore that and go get them, then I will.
Well, I'm not telling you what to do. Yeah. That's not my job to do that. No. But do you want to just survive or do you want to thrive? That's your decision to make, not James Burt or James Sinclair. I am telling you though that I think you could be doing more with this.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you need to get into the mindset that eBay is a one-time only client transaction, and then you do everything within your power to get them to buy from you direct the next time. Like I say, whether it be
even just
a nice little brochure.
Things that we do, like at Party Pieces and Rossi, the sellotape has got the logo on. There's a logo on the packing slip. Who packed it? Leave us a review. So even if you don't have to signal to buy again from us, but like those touch points, if you do it on multiple, like even a text message saying the Party Pieces team have packed your delivery, it's on the way, and then an email follow. I mean, how many emails do you send following up with customers that have bought from you before?
I don't send any follow-up emails.
I mean, that is literally like saying I don't want to be in business.
Yeah, I'm very anti-spam.
Well, it's not spam. If they've ordered from you before, do you want to be? You can't afford to buy the food right now. I think sending a few emails might help you buy the food. It's not. It's only spam if they don't know you. If they bought from you before, and they're a regular chippy and they need to buy stuff, and they, oh God, who's that company that I bought from before? And you're reminding them with a special offer, not spamming them. Every now and then giving them some value with a nice offer to come back and invite them to buy from you again. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. Mm. Why do you see that as a problem?
I mean, I have tried it. For me particularly, said, let's say I've done it 3 times. So again, over the last 3 months while we've done the application, and I haven't had anyone come from, my offers that I've done on email. I think I've got 54 people that have signed up for the marketing email. I've again on eBay. One of my advertising was a bit like a Willy Wonka ticket. Congratulations, you're a winner. I would only give 2 of these out a day, and I would offer them 15%. So out of the 1,000 customers I sent them to, I only got 11 orders, and that was worth £94.26. So again, just all these personally, all these things that I'm trying to get the customers to.
But these things take
order.
practice,
It's like, it feels like you're half trying them, like a Willy Wonka thing. And congratulations, you got 15% off. Hang on a second, but I've still got to give you 85% of the price. I haven't got anything there. You've not actually given me anything for free.
I can categorically tell you, as James Sinclair, that emails have made me millions of pounds of sales for my businesses.
You done it yesterday, didn't you, for one of your events?
I do it every day. I send over 1 million emails a month. Across,
do you?
Yeah. Party Pieces, Marsh Farm, Lee Valley. And they're not hard sales. They're just, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Would you like to, if I owned a restaurant, if I owned a restaurant, we've got a new menu launching this week. Do you want to come and give it a try? I mean, what is wrong with that?
Yeah. There's also, from what you were saying there, Josh, you haven't got enough data to see whether it works or not. 54 people on an email list is not enough numbers to tell whether something works or not.
You send out 54 emails and you get £100 back, which I think is what you just said, Josh, wasn't it?
No, that was on the eBay one. So 1,000 leaflets, and I only got it used 11 times. So
that's still 1% though, isn't it, from fairly cold traffic?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very happy with that. Lots of people will send out 1,000 leaflets and get 0.
Yeah. Well, I'll
but I think I don't want to just go and do exactly what we say. I want you to understand that you become a marketeer of your business rather than an operator of your business, and your life changes dramatically. If you don't want to be a marketeer when you're starting a business, then business isn't right for you. But you can't work for someone, so you've got to learn marketing. You've got to read 10 books on marketing, direct response marketing, email marketing.
Or you do go and work for someone.
Yeah.
Or you
get
do,
over yourself,
you say, do you know what, actually, the comfort of my family, the stability of a salary paid on the 28th of the month, that is more important to me in my life. And again, I think Jimbo mentioned it earlier, that's okay. Like that's okay. There's you've got to run your own race in this life. Don't get beguiled into, you've watched all of Jimbo's stuff and you watched Alex Hormozy and Gary Vee and everyone's doing entrepreneurship. For some people, it is not the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
What do you actually want? What does success look like for you, mate? As a sort of a broad picture.
So if I could do this job, so I'm a simple man. Do this job enough to support my family. I've obviously realised that if I need time off work, the money stops. So again, if I could hire someone like a second person to learn the business and help when you need that extra help and days off, then that would be good. But yeah, just
there's something very telling in your language there, Josh. I asked you what it is that you wanted, and you said to do this job. You haven't got a job, you've got a business. That's the mentality you've got to go into it with. If you see it as a job, you'll always get job results. And there's nothing wrong with having a job. You'll go to a lot of seminars like, oh, job is just over broke. You got to run your own thing. You haven't. But this is not a job, and it feels like you've got a sort of a bit of a job mentality towards it. And I get, you've been a bit burnt out by, you've had some health issues and all the rest of it, which is, sad to hear. But to make this work, you have got to have a bit of fight in you to drag this across the line, because I think you're going to have to drag it across the line. Yeah. And you could. If you started, like Jimbo says, if you did a bit more marketeer of the business stuff, you definitely could. 20 orders a day is not to be sniffed at. And if you convert,
some money is coming,
10% of those to come back to you rather than going to eBay. And if you say like the average, what's your average order value?
It's for eBay, probably about £5, but so some people can spend £40-50 on there. So yeah.
Let's just go through some of these questions. You said, is it silly a thought to get a business loan, say 25,000, expand and hope that I can scale the business? Well, I think, do we do the VAT thing and try with 10,000? Why would you not do that?
Yeah. You've already spent the money.
Yeah. And how do others make money when they sell £1 to £10 cheaper than what I can? And I might have the lowest I can go and only make a penny. Well, they're probably buying better than you. They're probably buying direct from China. They're not, where does your wholesaler buy his nuts and screws and bolts from?
Well, they all come from Asia.
Yeah, so they're just cutting that out. Someone like Ironmongery Direct will just buy direct, I'm sure, from the factory.
Mm.
But sometimes people do sell at a loss to get market share. I think Nintendo or PlayStation did that. The
They always do
console
it for the launches, don't they?
the console costs them $300 to make, and they sell it for $300, and they want to make money from the games. That's the razor model. When they sell a razor or a toothbrush, they don't want to make money from that. They make money from the new heads and new blades.
Yeah.
It's sometimes that can be the case. And what can I do to make my business stand out? Well, I think your website could be a money-making machine for you. And I think if I had your business, I would be getting on the phone and ringing and going into Facebook groups where carpenters and builders hang about and putting offers in there on a daily basis, just so that you get those people that constantly want to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
In essence, you've got to be a person that goes and gets customers. In the first 5 years of business, you are a person that you spend more time on getting customers and keeping customers than operating your business. And clearly, by the stuff that you do in your business, why we ask that very question when we do this application form, I think you're in a business that's operating the business. You're picking and packing orders and even taking them to Royal Mail. That ain't going to make you money. But I get you're a small business and you can't afford to employ anyone at the moment. I think the first stage is thinking, this ain't good enough. I've got to be spending my time on getting customers, and how am I going to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right, mate.
Yeah, fine.
It's tough, isn't it? This isn't, no one teaches us how to do all this stuff, but hopefully there are some good pointers there that will help you tomorrow and in the future.
Yeah.
For people who are looking for all their fixtures and fastenings, where can they go so they can find out more about you and the business, Josh, and get these discounts and buy from you direct and cut out flipping eBay?
They head over to franksfasteners.co.uk and place an order, and it will hopefully be with you the next day.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you for being on the pod, mate.
There's a lot of tradespeople listening here, and I hope they bloody buy from you.
Yeah.
That's all. Please, gang, go and buy from him. You'll be all right. Josh, how did you find out about me? How did you find out about this podcast?
So you just found out about you randomly on front of YouTube about a year or so ago.
Fine.
And then just been following you since, and nice to hear other stories and how all the information that you have is very helpful.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Josh. I want to make a deal with you. I'm going to send you my book, Getting Customers. I'm going to post it to you. It's completely free. I want you to read it, and that's all I want you to do.
Okay, thank you.
Will you promise me you will if I send it to you?
I will read it from front to back.
Okay, mate. And then I want you to come on in a year's time, apply again, and hopefully things have got a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be nice to do.
All right, mate. You okay?
Yeah, no, perfect. Thank you.
You sure?
Yeah, excellent.
All right, mate. Okay.
Lovely. Thanks you for being on the pod, Josh. Nice one.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Well, not every pod is a feel-good saga, is it?
No. What I love about this podcast, and what we do, JB, is we literally have people turning millions of pounds right down to this level. And I think whatever level you're at in business, whether you are, you're listening, you're driving along, a lot of people listen to us whilst driving along, and they're sitting there running their 5, 10, 15 million pound business. I think they will listen to this and go, yeah, maybe I'm not doing enough marketing still. Maybe I'm not doing it. We're coasting. We've just got comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I think that a lot about my business. You start getting into, I've got a few good customers, we've got regular cash flow, we become lazy.
Yeah.
And I hope that anyone that's got a big established business listening to this, remember how tough it is in the beginning. No one teaches you. And if you're lucky enough to have the get up and go and the hunger, when you have a run of bad luck, I think it's very hard.
Keep picking yourself up.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up one time.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and if you are financially up against it a little bit, and then you've got health complications, it could just take the wind out of your sails, can't it?
And then you don't want to work for someone. I mean, he categorically said, "I don't want to work for someone."
Yeah.
Didn't he? So, but there is always someone else worse off than you. Just when you listen back to that, I can tell you business owners that are millions of pounds worth of debt and they've lost their house because it hasn't worked out. They've lost a big contract and everything was going well with them. Like that, it's gone. Yeah, that's not going to happen to him, is it? You know, he's still going to have £50,000 worth of screws that he'll be able to slowly sell on eBay if he decides to stop it all.
Very true. Well, tradespeople of the world, wherever you are around the world, franksfasteners.co.uk. Go and support a great independent business and buy direct. Buy direct.
And tell him that James and James sent you there.
But there you go. Awesome stuff.
I feel really sorry because once we send him an invoice for that ad, that's really going to hurt him, isn't it?
No, it's going to be...
We're not doing that. It's on us.
And you can send him a book as well.
Yeah, we're going to send him. I'm just going to make sure Sharabi Doos and Shuddly Wuddly sort that out. Is that?
We've got a new member of the team, by the way. Can you explain?
Yeah. Ben Sharabi, just come on camera around here. He's come on as scribe. That's why I'm calling him, because he's a good wordsmith.
He is very good, isn't he?
Yeah, he used to work for...
Would you like to come and sit here? You can introduce him to him.
Yeah, come sit here, Sharabi Doos.
I want to find out, why do you call him Sharabi Doos?
No, I like giving everyone a nickname, because he's tell everyone your surname, Sharabi.
Hello.
It's Sharabi, isn't it?
Close enough. Yes, it's...
what is it?
Sharabi.
Sorry about that.
He doesn't even know his real name.
Well, a lot of people, I call Michael Chudley Chuds, there we go.
I've been called a lot worse.
But he's joined us on on our business training team and our marketing team. What are you doing day to day, Ben?
It's a very good question. We're still kind of figuring that out. I do as you said,
Speak a little bit closer to the microphone.
Sorry, the wordsmith stuff that you like me to do. I mean, as a journalist by trade, I feel like that's probably the best thing I can bring to the team, but also do a bit of the odd... graphic stuff, make some videos, and
there you go.
Chat up the mayor. That was good.
Chat up the mayor. Yeah, I just think it's really important to have the business owner is the marketing ideas person, but we want lots of implementers that suddenly come up with their own ideas, and I think that's what Ben's going to do for us. So you'll be seeing more of him on my YouTube channel, on the main channel. Go and check out the main channel, by the way. We put loads of great new content on there to grow your business. We'll be back here with the next episode of this in a few days, won't we? I feel a bit weird not having JB there and just having Sharafi there. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.